What are the different types of classes in C Sharp? Let's check them out in this video. Hey, it's T from the Breakthrough Code channel, where we try to make coding fun and simple to understand. Make sure to stick around till the end because I'm going to show you a secret way to initialize variables in C Sharp as a bonus. So let's dive straight into it and list out all the different types of classes you can have. So first of all, you can have a static class, a sealed class, a partial class, and an abstract class. So let's start off with the static class. A static class is a class created with the static keyword. You can create objects with this type. It can only have static data members and static methods, and they are sealed, which means they do not support inheritance. A sealed class is created using the seal keyword. It is used when you want to stop users from inheriting from that particular class. And you can also have sealed methods too, which can be overridden. A partial class is created using the partial keyword, and it is a special feature you can use to split functionality into multiple files. However, when the solution is compiled, it's just compiled to one class file. Okay. The partial classes you create for an individual class all need to live in the same assembly. And finally, we have the abstract class, which is also created using the abstract keyword. Okay, this class stops a class from being instantiated, and this is used as a base class for your other classes to inherit from. So if I want some sort of common behavior across certain classes, this is perfect for that. Okay, let's head over to Visual Studio, and I can show you some examples of how to use them. So let's start off with a static class. Okay, I want to create a class that I can just use to work out how much I earn per day, but just supplying that class with my hourly rate should give me like a total sum of what of how much I earned that day. So let's create this wage calculator static class. Okay, so we can do that by saying public, and then we use the static keyword and then the class keyword obviously, and then we'll give it a name, wage calculator. Okay, and that's the class. Okay, then let's give it a data member that will hold like the hours worked per day, which we can use to kind of calculate our daily rate. Okay, so public int hours worked per day. Or we can just call it hours worked. It doesn't have to be hours worked. Okay, equals 8. Okay, it's we're getting an error there, and it says here wage calculator dot hours worked cannot declare instance members in a static class. So let's make it static, because as remember you can only have a static data members. So let's go with that. So static, and that's fine. Then we need the method that's going to calculate our daily rate. So let's create that. Again, we create a public static. It's going to return a decimal. Oops, made a mistake there. Decimal. Okay, we're going to get daily rate. Okay, and to get daily rate, we supply it with a decimal of hourly rate. Okay, and this will return hourly rate times by hours worked. Perfect. Cool. And there we have it. There's our static class. Okay, now to make use of this class as basically it's not an instance class, so we do not need to create an instance of it. We can just call the method directly using the static class name. So let's go into the main method and try and make use of this class to give us our daily rate. So I can just directly print out whatever that daily rate is by saying my daily rate is, and using string interpolation there, I can just say I can just use the class name wage calculator and then dot, and then I can go for get daily rate. Actually, I didn't mean to expose that variable there because it's not going to be used outside of the class, so let's get rid of that. Daily rate, okay, and we're earning £25 per day, so let's go with that. Actually, let's put a we're earning £5 per hour. That's our hourly rate. Okay, so let's see what this gives us. Let's run that. And cool, it says there my daily rate is £200. So earning £25 per hour is going to give us £200 on a daily rate, because obviously you can only work 8 hours. Cool. So that's a perfect example of a static class there. Okay, now for a sealed class, let's modify this wage calculator into a sealed class. Okay, so we can do that by making this sealed, using the seal keyword. Okay, and then we can get rid of that. We can let's change this into let's make this private. Actually, private. So it's properly private const int hours worked. There we go, and then we can get rid of that as well. Okay, cool. So this is our pretty much a good example of a sealed class. Okay, we've converted that static class into a sealed class, but we are obviously getting an error over here with the wage calculator, and let's see what that error says. It says an object reference is required for a non-static field, method, or property. So basically it's telling us that we need to create an instance of this class. Okay, this is a perfect time to introduce the var keyword. Okay, so it is used to instruct the compiler to get the type of variable from the right hand side. Okay, so this is the bonus feature I was gonna tell you about. So the var keyword. Okay, so if I use var wage calculator and then I type equals new wage calculator, I don't need to specify wage calculator here because it's going to infer that from the right hand side. Okay, so I can just use the var keyword instead. Okay, and that should work perfectly. Okay, and this is an industry standard way of doing things, so going forward you should try and always use var instead of using the type name going forward. So that's the bonus for you. Okay, so now that we have our instance, let's call that in our console.write line for our wait, and use that to call our get daily rate method. Okay, and when we run that again, that gives us the same result. My daily rate is £200. Cool, so that worked perfectly. Now here's the gotcha with the special feature with the sealed class. We can't inherit it. So if I wanted to create another class called, I don't know, salary calculator, so public class salary calculator, and I wanted to inherit all this functionality that the wage calculator has, I would use that there, that's colon there, and then I'll type in wage calculator, and I should then be able to inherit the functionality that the wage calculator has. But it's giving me an error, so it's saying that cannot derive from sealed type wage calculator. So I wouldn't be able to inherit from the wage calculator, obviously, because it is sealed. Cool, so that's basically sealed classes in a nutshell. Let's go on to partial classes, and this is a pretty straightforward one for us to do. Okay, so obviously making sure that we're using the same namespace. Okay, because that's the gotcha with the partial class. It's got to be in the same namespace. Let's create a partial class to to print someone's full name. So we can go public and then use partial keyword. Okay, class person. Okay, so and then we're going to give it some private members, private string. Actually, you know what? Let's do it another way. So let's use the shorthand for Visual Studio to create a constructor. Then we'll create some parameters for the constructor. First name and surname. Strings name or last name. Let's use last name. Okay, and then I can just use Visual Studio to kind of help me create and assign those fields for first name and last name, so I don't have to do all that typing because I'm a bit lazy. Get rid of this read only. Okay, so we've got this first name and last name. Okay, so that's our partial class, first part of our partial class. Then we want to create the other part. We want to use the other partial class to print the full name. So let's do that again. Public partial class person. Again, I have to spell public correctly. Public. There we go. And this time we can just do a public void print full name. We'll call the method. Okay. And then we just need a console.writeLine, and now we should be able to use string interpolation here, I guess, if we wanted to, so that we can put the space in between the first name and surname. But the cool thing about it is that I should be able to access the first name variable and the last name variable, as you can see here. How cool is that? Cool. And that should complete our partial class. Okay, now to use this in our main method, it works just like any other class where we have to create an instance of it. So var person equals new person. Okay, and this new person, we want to give it a name, so we'll go with John Bones. Okay, and then we can just go person dot print full name, and that should work nicely. Run that, and then we got the full name printed. Perfect. Cool. Okay, so now finally let's see an example of the abstract class. Okay, so let's get rid of all this. I could have used that, but let's use something else. Let's use let's create an abstract class that's an animal. Okay, public abstract class animal. Okay, there we go. That's how you create the abstract class. And let's give it an abstract sound. Let's give it an abstract sound property. Because animals make sounds. And then let's give it a move method. Public. That can be overridden by its derived public virtual void move. Okay, so virtual just means it can be overridden by its derived class. Okay, so then I want to just say moving, because the animal's moving even though we don't know what animal it is. It will be moving when we call this method. Okay, cool. Now, if we try and instantiate this method, this class, let's see what happens. So var animal equals new animal, we get an error. Okay, and that says cannot create an instance of the abstract type of interface animal, because we need to inherit from it. That's the only way we can use this class. We can't create instances of abstract classes. Okay, so let's create a class called animal, and we go public class, lion, not animal, and this will inherit from animal though. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to override all these members. So we'll override the sound. So we'll go public override string sound, but in this instance we're just gonna get that to raw, set that to raw, sorry. Okay, and then we're going to override the moving method as well, public, because line doesn't just move, it runs. So in this case we're going to CW Visual Studio IntelliSense doing all the work for us, all the let's go lion started running, which would probably be a scary sight. Cool. Right, so now that we've done that, let's see if we can utilize this lion class. So var lion equals new lion. It seems that we can. Let's see what sound this lion makes. Lion dot sound. Okay, and also let's get the lion to move and see what happens when we do that. Cool. So when we run that, okay, so the lion roars and the lion starts running. Cool. So I guess that's it for this video, guys. I've shown you the different types of classes. Please like, comment and subscribe if you find the video informative, and if you want to see more, look out for the next video in our playlist. Have a great day.